program to convert our existing factories so that we make in America every piece of renewable energy equipment we need in America. We need a low-carbon auto fleet. We need high-speed freight and passenger rail industry that's the envy of the world. We need to raise recycling rates in America's basic industries to at least 70%. We need to share the efficiencies of the national broadband system. All this and much, much more. The recovery from the past recession, every recovery from past recessions has had a leading economic indicator. In the 1950s, it was the automobile and the interstate highway system. A combination of new technology, strong federal policy, and public investment. It created the framework for economic recovery and growth. Today, it's up to us whether the leading economic sector coming out of the Great Recession will be our clean energy industries. The technologies are already there, but we've got to get the public policies and investments right. Our goal is to create good jobs and green jobs. Not one or the other, but both. To drive this point home, I want to close with a brief story. Recently, I read in the New York Times how today carrots are grown in Great Britain, then picked and flown to Kenya in Africa the same morning, where they are washed and put in plastic bags, packaged and flown back to London supermarket, put on the shelf that same afternoon, all to take advantage of cheap labor. Now that might seem absurd, outrageous to those of us sitting here in Washington, D.C. today, and almost grotesque in terms of how our system can encourage companies to take advantage of cheap workers. But think about what it's doing to the environment. If we do nothing, jet engine emissions are expected to be at least 5% of our total global warming emissions by 2025. And they are 2 to 4 times as potent because of the nitric oxide they contain. Cheap oil and cheap labor go hand in hand. To create good jobs and green jobs, we need to pass climate and clean energy jobs legislation in the United States Senate now. Not next year. On a low-wage fossil fuel economy that burns jet fuel from Britain to Kenya to wash carrots, if we want to create a stable market in America where wind energy and companies and their factories can thrive, if we want to create the demand for steel, aluminum, and concrete that are needed for America's clean energy infrastructure and revitalize railroads, if we want to put millions of construction workers back on the job and keep them there, then we need to pass climate and clean energy jobs legislation now. Let's get the policy and investments right. Thank you, and we're going to have a great conference.